A tear gas canister. It is not how they should be used legally. For crowd dispersal, you usually shoot it near the group, aiming for the ground, not actually at the group and at their heads. These canisters have killed people before. Finish line straight Outta quarantine finish line 2020 shirt. Korean protesters rioters in the 1980s would do this with some very nice planning. The protesters would retreat backward up the street from the finish line straight Outta quarantine finish line 2020 shirt. Tank top, V-neck. Ladies tee for men and women. Tank top, V-neck. Make sure to stop by the hardware store to pick up sledgehammers and picks. During the first couple of years of Trump's presidency, here in Portland, you would see piles of bricks and rocks on the side of the road during the Antifa and AMP right-wing equivalents finish line straight Outta quarantine finish line 2020 shirt into our governments. It felt like a circus or a play every time I went and watched. I wouldn't know. I learned this from Korean friends when I lived there, when I told them about the total devastation I saw after a protest in Seoul, and how the entire street was stripped bare to its substrate like it had been professionally demolished. Rioting is a true Korean art form. It isn't helter-skelter every man for himself like a riot in the West. More like watching the Germans versus Romans chapter 2000 years ago. I'm half convinced that if the kids at Tiananmen Square had had a team of veteran Seoul University protesters on their side to show them the ropes, the results could have been different. Official finish line straight Outta quarantine finish line 2020 sweatshirt. Hoodie. Sweatshirt. Hoodie. Protesting is powerful for sure. But remember that it wasn't just the police. With police equipment at Tiananmen Square, the PLA was sent in, famously with tanks, but also with APCs full of soldiers, who simply executed as many as several thousand protesters. It's the memory of that slaughter that China is afraid of repeating in an age where everyone can instantly share what finish line straight Outta quarantine finish line 2020 shirt. I lived near Yonsei University and other products.